Hi friends, this is Varada Sharma with another card video for you guys. I'm making this card with all the supplies from October Simon Says stamp card kit. So it has this stamp set that is ICU. It has this beautiful patterned heart which we are going to use today. And I'm also going to use the sentiment "You're pretty fantastic." So that's what we're going to use. We're also going to make use of these tiny little hearts. They're so adorable. Okay, what I have done is on my Misty tool, I have laid out the supplies and kind of made up the layout of the card that exactly how I want it to be. And I'm going to start picking up stamps, transfer them onto my Misty tool's door, and we're going to start stamping. So I'm just going to make sure the stamps remain here and all the other things I had put to establish the layout, I'm going to take them aside. I like to do this quite often, and especially Misty Tools helps a lot with it because it lets me plan my card. So that is, when I'm making a card, I'm just making a card. I'm not wondering for ideas, especially when I'm going to make a video. So I've closed the door of this Misty Tool. I'm transferring both my stamps exactly the way they should be onto the door of my Misty Tool, and I'm going to start prepping the surface of my card for embossing. We are going to heat emboss the heart pattern. This card here is not exactly 5.5 by 4.25. The paper is handmade paper and I got it from India when I came over. This is so when I made the card, it wasn't exactly the 9 by 11 or 8.5 by 11 dimensions, so I had to work with whatever dimensions the card came out to be out of that paper. So it's slightly less. It's about 5 by 4 1/8, I believe. Okay, so what we did was we prepped the card base with powder tool. I have inked up only the heart part. I don't want my sentiment to be stamped just yet, so I have inked up only the heart piece, and I have with Versamark ink. This is a clear sticky ink, and I'm transferring all that ink onto the card base here. I'm going to take my card base apart, leave this Misty tool aside, and I'm going to start putting Martha Stewart antique gold embossing powder on this. I'm in love with this embossing powder. This gives the best finish of gold, and I really like it. So as you can see, this paper is handmade paper, and it has tiny little, what you can say, threads of paper, so they are holding on to my embossing powder. I'm making sure I'm going over those areas with a dry paintbrush and getting rid of all that powder where I don't want it to be. I'm not going to mess with the pieces in the middle of the heart. I'm just going to leave them alone for now, and I won't be too much concerned about having tiny bits and pieces over there, as long as it is in the middle of the heart. I'm just going around the edges and making sure I clean it away, all the embossing powder, just for good measure. I think I missed putting some powder on one of the edges, so I'm doing that. That's better, and I'm going to clean it up just one more time. That's much better. I'm going to start heating my heat gun or heat tool, and you'll see that noise there while I transfer all this embossing powder back into its jar. I'm going to bring the heat gun to my card base now and start melting the powder. It's giving gorgeous gold look as it melts. See? Perfect. up, what we're going to do is we are going to do a little bit of watercoloring. This ink here and the embossed design is going to resist the ink that I'm going to put on it, and it's going to leave out the lines as gold, and it's going to give me a very nice kind of loose watercolory look. I'm first going to go ahead and use this Abundant Coral Distress ink. I'm just dabbing a little bit of it on my acrylic block here, and I have my water brush. I'm just going to take this water brush and squeeze a little bit of water, and now take that ink to my paper, and I'm just going to give it a loose watercolory look. That's what I'm going for. And towards the middle I'm going to bring in some yellow. This card kit came with a lot of beautiful flowery patterns, and most of them are pink, gold, yellow, so I'm just keeping up with that theme, and I'm just going to bring my yellow to this paper now. This is fossilized amber, again another distress ink. I'm taking just a tiny bit of it on my acrylic block, and now I'm going to go from the other side and bring in that yellow. Towards the center of this heart, I want both of these colors to blend, and that's what I'm hoping. There. This paper is going to stay wet for a long time, so I'm not going to mess with the middle of the heart just yet. I'm going to go around it and start decorating the rest of this card. So what I have here is couple more hearts that I have mounted onto a tiny little acrylic block. I'm going to go in with some black ink. I wanted to make sure I bring out the black in my pattern just a tiny bit more, so I'm going to go in with some black ink and add these hearts just around. One right there, one towards the bottom, and now for the other design heart. As you can see here, I'm first making sure I stamp it on a scratch piece of paper, that way I know it will stamp perfectly. These are some of the pattern papers that have come in the card kit. So I have cut off this piece and this chevron piece. We are going to use the yellow side of this, the pattern flowers, and we are going to use the chevron side of my Misty back here. I'm going to line up the chevron piece exactly where I want it to be, and we are going to hold it in place with the two magnets that come with the Misty tool, and we're going to use the black ink to stamp. I'm just making sure I don't lose those tiny little heart pieces. We are going to just stamp the sentiment. I'm making sure I don't ink my heart. I'm going to close the door on it. Make sure it's stamped nice and pull it up. My UR did not get inked up properly, but that's okay. We are still using the Misty tool. So I'm going to go back on that side, and this time I'm pressing only the word UR so that it will transfer all its ink. That's beautiful. Let's clean up the stamp and take out this piece, and my work of Misty tool is done. Okay, let's start assembling rest of this card. So I'm going for this little end to be just like so. So I'm going to cut it right over there, and I'm going to cut the next chevron after this dark pink one because I want to put the golden arrows, or I don't know whether they're arrows or something, but that came with this card kit. So I'm cutting it up like this. So this is the piece with the sentiment that I made ready. I'm going to ink up just this last chevron bit, and I'm going to adhere this arrow at that edge. I'm going to make sure this piece is exactly how much I want it to be. So I'm just holding it like that and turning it around, and I'm going to trim it up, and then on the other side. Okay. So what we're going to do is use this double-sided tape and cut it slightly smaller than the piece here. Okay, about that much. And we are also going to, I'm going to use my big scissors this time. We are also going to trim it down slightly, because otherwise its width is bigger than the piece I want to attach. I'm not being very careful with the straightness of this, if you know what I mean. I'm just making sure that at no point its width is going to be bigger than my pattern paper. I'm going to take off the pattern paper here and line it up exactly like so. Okay, I goofed up tiny little bit, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go on the other side and trim this up. Okay. Now for this sentiment piece, I want it to be hanging off like so. I'm going to take this double-sided foam adhesive and adhere it only to one side of my chevron. So this edge of my chevron will get the lift and the other side will not get the lift. It will get the normal adhesive, so it will lie flat with the help of the other pattern paper we have there. I'm going to save this piece and put it here. I'll need it to stick some other things. And now I'm going to put regular tape runner adhesive on the other side of my pattern paper, so that this side lies flat and this side is raised. I'm lining up the edge to the edge of my card and pressing it down firmly. So this is what it looks like. Now for a couple more embellishments, what we are going to do is we are going to add these right here and this one right here. I'm going to use the remaining piece of foam adhesive that's left over from when we trimmed it up, and just go behind this bigger piece here and on the other side. Has a tiny bit showing up, so I'm just trimming it off. And I'm going to take off the backing paper and adhere it right about here, leaving enough space for my other piece, which is this piece, and it will go there. I'm going to trim it down further because even this width is a bit too much for that skinny little arrow. So I cut it off into half and I'm adhering on the back side. Taking off the backing paper on both these skinny ends, and I'm going to adhere it like so. That finishes my card for today. I hope you enjoyed and feel inspired to try something like this. These card kits from Simon Says Stamp do take the guesswork out of finding coordinating supplies. I would encourage you to give it a try. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my blog as well as this channel. Thanks so much for watching and all your encouragement. Until next time, bye bye.